intricate tapestry of the financial world, where fortunes rise and fall, there exists a dark thread that weaves tales of deception, shattered dreams, and financial chaos. Today, we embark on a journey to unravel the story of one man whose name became synonymous with deceit, Charles Ponzi. But before we delve into the intricate details of the Ponzi scheme that shook the world, let's take a step back and understand the broader canvas upon which this tale unfolds. Ponzi schemes, a term etched into the financial lexicon, are not a recent phenomenon. They have a long and sordid history, preying on the hopes and aspirations of those seeking quick wealth. In this exploration, we aim to shed light on one of the most infamous architects of such schemes, Charles Ponzi. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Today, we'll be diving into the life of Charles Ponzi, the man whose financial machinations left an indelible mark on history. Ponzi's story is not just about numbers and finances. It's a cautionary tale about the human desire for wealth and the consequences of blind trust. So, buckle up as we journey through the rise and fall of a man whose name became synonymous with financial ruin. In the intricate tapestry of Ponzi's life, the story unfolds not merely as a numerical saga, but as a cautionary tale delving into the labyrinth of human aspirations for affluence. It's a narrative woven with the threads of blind trust and the intoxicating allure of wealth. As we embark on this gripping journey, we'll witness the captivating rise and the devastating fall of a man whose name echoes through history as a symbol of financial ruin. Unraveling the Ponzi scheme, a tale of deception and financial chaos, promises to be a riveting exploration of the intricate dance between ambition and consequence. Buckle up for a ride through the corridors of power, trust, and the price one pays for chasing the elusive dream of boundless riches. Stay tuned as we explore the background of Charles Ponzi, the birth of his infamous scheme, and the subsequent unraveling that sent shockwaves through the financial world. The story of Ponzi is not just a historical episode. It's a timeless lesson on the importance of skepticism and financial literacy. To understand the enigma that was Charles Ponzi, we must journey back to the cobbled streets of Boston, where our story begins. Early life and upbringing. Charles Ponzi, born on March 3, 1882, in Parma, Italy, was the son of a struggling family. His early years were marked by poverty and uncertainty, planting the seeds for a lifelong pursuit of financial success. As a young boy, Ponzi displayed a relentless determination to rise above his circumstances. His ambition and resilience, even in the face of adversity, hinted at the extraordinary path he would later tread. At the age of 21, Ponzi set sail for the United States, driven by the promise of the American dream. Little did he know that his journey across the Atlantic would be the first step towards a legacy that would captivate the world. Initial forays into the financial world. Arriving in Boston in 1903, Ponzi wasted no time immersing himself in the bustling financial landscape of the city. His early jobs were modest, but his keen eye for opportunities soon led him to explore the intricacies of finance. From working odd jobs to navigating the complexities of financial institutions, Ponzi's journey in the financial world was a patchwork of experiences. Each step, no matter how small, contributed to the evolution of a mind that would later conceive a scheme of unprecedented scale. Ponzi's early experiences were like pieces of a puzzle, shaping his understanding of the financial system. It was a journey that laid the groundwork for what would become one of the most audacious schemes in history. Emergence of Charles Ponzi as a charismatic figure. As Ponzi navigated the financial landscape, his charisma and charm began to set him apart. Tall, well-dressed, and possessing an air of confidence, he quickly became a figure of fascination for those around him. Whether in social gatherings or financial circles, Ponzi's magnetic personality drew people in. His ability to articulate financial concepts with eloquence and conviction masked the schemes brewing in his mind. Ponzi had this aura about him. You couldn't help but be captivated by his confidence. He seemed to have the Midas touch. Engaging in various social clubs and organizations, Ponzi cultivated connections that would later become crucial to the success of his grand scheme. Little did anyone suspect the dark turns his ambitions would take. As the stage was set in the early chapters of Charles Ponzi's life, the charismatic protagonist was on the brink of a journey that would forever alter the course of financial history. Join us as we uncover the layers of a man who would become synonymous with both infamy and allure. As Charles Ponzi's life unfolded in the vibrant tapestry of early 20th century Boston, a groundbreaking financial concept was taking shape. A concept that would eventually bear his name and leave an indelible mark on history. But first, let's unravel the very fabric of what would become known as the Ponzi scheme. At its core, a Ponzi scheme is a form of investment fraud that lures investors with promises of high returns, usually achieved by using the capital of newer investors to pay the returns to earlier investors. Imagine a pyramid, delicately balanced on the contributions of those at the base. As new investors pour in their money, the returns promised to the earlier investors are paid from these fresh investments, creating the illusion of profitability. The key to a Ponzi scheme's success lies in its ability to attract a constant influx of new investors. As long as this flow continues, the scheme can sustain itself. However, the inevitable collapse occurs when the recruitment of new investors falters, and the operator can no longer meet the promised returns. Now, let's delve into the mind of Charles Ponzi, the mastermind who ingeniously applied these principles to orchestrate one of the most audacious financial schemes in history. It was during his tenure in the banking and financial sector that Ponzi stumbled upon the idea. Observing international trade and the disparities in currency values, he identified a potential arbitrage opportunity. Ponzi claimed to have found a way to exploit the difference in currency exchange rates between the United States and other countries. He promised investors enormous profits within a short period, claiming to double their investments in a matter of weeks. Armed with his newfound concept, Ponzi set out to sell the dream of easy wealth, and the response from investors was nothing short of staggering. The allure was irresistible. Ponzi was like a magician. He promised something that seemed too good to be true, and yet we couldn't resist the temptation. The prospect of doubling our money within weeks was too enticing to ignore. With the Ponzi scheme firmly in place, Charles Ponzi embarked on a meteoric rise to prominence, employing a series of marketing strategies that would captivate the masses and propel his financial empire to unprecedented heights. Marketing strategies. Ponzi was not just a financial innovator, he was a marketing maestro. To sustain his elaborate scheme, he unleashed a barrage of promotional tactics that painted a picture of unmatched prosperity. First and foremost was the strategic use of mass media. Ponzi, ever the showman, secured extensive coverage in newspapers and magazines. His compelling narrative of easy wealth became a national sensation, drawing the attention of potential investors from far and wide. Headlines screamed his praises, dubbing him the Wizard of Wall Street and the modern Midas. Ponzi strategically cultivated an image of infallibility, convincing the public that he had discovered a financial secret beyond the comprehension of ordinary investors. But it wasn't just in print that Ponzi worked his magic. He took to the stage, addressing large crowds with charismatic flair. His eloquent speeches, often peppered with financial jargon and promises of incredible returns, left audiences spellbound. Ponzi's genius lay not just in the scheme itself, but in his ability to sell a dream. He knew how to create an aura of exclusivity and promised investors a piece of the extraordinary. Rapid growth of investor base. As the media frenzy reached a crescendo, so did the influx of eager investors. The promise of quick riches acted as a magnetic force, drawing in individuals from all walks of life, from blue-collar workers to business tycoons. Lines of hopeful investors wrapped around Ponzi's office, each person eager to be part of the financial phenomenon. The sheer volume of new investors pouring in allowed Ponzi to maintain the illusion of prosperity for those already on board. Promise of extraordinary returns and widespread excitement. Central to Ponzi's success was the audacious promise of extraordinary returns. He claimed that investors could double their money in a matter of weeks, a promise that seemed too tempting to resist in the midst of a roaring economic boom. Ponzi skillfully played on the concept of compounding returns, weaving a narrative that seemed plausible on the surface. Investors were led to believe that their money was being put to work in a lucrative venture that transcended the limitations of traditional investments. Ponzi's personal touch was equally vital. He engaged with investors individually, building a sense of trust and camaraderie. His charisma was a potent tool in convincing even the most skeptical that they were part of a financial revolution. The excitement was infectious. Investors, driven by the prospect of quick wealth, began to refer friends, family, and colleagues, creating a self-perpetuating cycle of growth. As Ponzi's empire expanded at an unprecedented pace, the stage was set for a reckoning. In the next part of our journey, we'll explore the warning signs, skepticism, and the investigative journalism that would ultimately unravel the facade of prosperity. Stay tuned as we peel back the layers of Charles Ponzi's financial web. The euphoria surrounding Ponzi's financial juggernaut reached its zenith, but beneath the surface of prosperity lurked the seeds of skepticism and early warning signs that would eventually pierce the veil of deception. Early warning signs and skepticism. As the investment scheme continued its meteoric rise, a chorus of skepticism began to murmur among those not entirely swept away by Ponzi's charisma. Some astute investors questioned the feasibility of the promised returns, sensing that something was amiss. Early warning signs appeared in the financial press, with a few journalists daring to question the sustainability of Ponzi's enterprise. Articles surfaced, challenging the very foundation of the scheme and the mechanics behind the promised profits. The mathematics of Ponzi's promise, which initially seemed like a magical formula, began to unravel under scrutiny. Some investors, fueled by skepticism, started demanding clarity on the sources of their extraordinary returns. Investigative journalism and exposure. The murmurs of doubt did not go unnoticed by the Fourth Estate. Investigative journalists, smelling a potential story, took it upon themselves to dig deeper into the intricate web of Ponzi's financial operations. Reporters pored over financial documents, interviewed experts, and scrutinized every facet of Ponzi's supposed arbitrage strategy. Their relentless pursuit of the truth would prove instrumental in unraveling the deception that had ensnared countless investors. Headlines shifted from praise to skepticism, with newspapers publishing exposés that pulled back the curtain on Ponzi's financial alchemy. The unraveling had begun, and the public was about to witness a spectacle unlike any other. One by one, the layers of Ponzi's scheme were laid bare in the pages of newspapers. The once revered Wizard of Wall Street was now under the harsh scrutiny of public opinion. Initial legal actions and attempts to halt the scheme. The mounting pressure from skeptical investors and incisive journalism eventually prompted legal authorities to take notice. Initial legal actions were set in motion as regulators sought to put an end to the rapidly unraveling financial empire. Ponzi, realizing the walls were closing in, scrambled to defend his scheme. Legal battles ensued, with Ponzi employing every tactic at his disposal to stave off investigations and maintain the illusion of financial solvency. The fallout from Ponzi's spectacular scheme wasn't confined to the courtroom. The ripples of financial ruin spread far and wide, leaving in their wake stories of shattered dreams, societal repercussions, and hard-learned lessons. As legal proceedings unfolded, the true extent of the devastation wrought by Ponzi's scheme became apparent. Individual investors, who had once envisioned a future of wealth and prosperity, found themselves facing financial ruin. The personal toll was immeasurable. Families faced eviction, life savings evaporated, and dreams turned into nightmares. The emotional scars left by Ponzi's deception would last a lifetime. Letters poured in from investors, detailing the devastating impact on their lives. Each story painted a vivid picture of the human cost of financial greed and deceit. Societal impact and trust. Erosion in financial systems. Beyond the individual tragedies, Ponzi's scheme cast a dark shadow over the financial landscape, leading to widespread societal repercussions. The confidence that investors once placed in financial systems was severely undermined. Anger spilled onto the streets as disillusioned investors demanded justice. The Ponzi scheme, once a symbol of prosperity, had become a rallying cry for those who felt betrayed by the very system meant to protect them. The Ponzi scheme shook the foundations of trust in financial institutions. people began to question not only individual operators, but the very structures that were supposed to safeguard their investments. Lessons learned from the Ponzi scheme debacle. The Ponzi scheme debacle left an indelible mark on financial history, prompting a collective reflection on the lessons that needed to be learned to prevent such catastrophes in the future. One of the fundamental lessons from Ponzi's scheme is the importance of due diligence. Investors need to be vigilant and question promises that seem too good to be true. The need for enhanced regulatory oversight also became glaringly apparent. Governments and financial institutions began to reassess their monitoring mechanisms, implementing measures to detect and prevent fraudulent schemes. Ponzi's scheme exposed loopholes in our regulatory framework. People needed to adapt and evolve to ensure the safety of investors and the integrity of our financial systems. The Ponzi scheme, while a dark chapter in financial history, served as a catalyst for increased financial literacy. Educating the public about the risks and pitfalls of unrealistic investment promises became a priority. Today, the legacy of Ponzi lives on as a cautionary tale, a stark reminder that the pursuit of quick wealth can lead to dire consequences. Join us in the final part of our journey as we explore the legal consequences faced by Charles Ponzi and the enduring impact of his audacious scheme on financial practices and regulations. The stage was set for the legal reckoning of Charles Ponzi, the orchestrator of one of the most audacious financial schemes in history. The legal system, having been set in motion, aimed to hold Ponzi accountable for the chaos he had unleashed. Overview of legal actions against Charles Ponzi. As skepticism turned into investigations, the legal machinery swung into action. Authorities, fueled by the growing evidence of Ponzi's fraudulent activities, initiated a series of legal actions against the man who had become a symbol of deception. The legal actions against Ponzi were not just about seeking justice for defrauded investors. They were about sending a message that financial fraud on such a scale would not go unpunished. Ponzi, once celebrated as the Wizard of Wall Street, was now facing a legal whirlwind that would determine the fate of his financial empire and ultimately his freedom. Trial proceedings and conviction. The courtroom became the battleground where Ponzi's intricate web of deception would be laid bare for all to see. The trial proceedings were a spectacle, drawing intense public interest as the man behind the financial juggernaut faced the consequences of his actions. Witnesses took the stand, recounting tales of financial ruin and broken promises. Prosecutors meticulously presented evidence of Ponzi's fraudulent activities, leaving little room for doubt about the magnitude of his deception. Ponzi, in a desperate attempt to defend his actions, argued that he genuinely believed in the success of his arbitrage scheme. However, the mounting evidence against him proved insurmountable. The verdict echoed through the courtroom, marking the end of Ponzi's elaborate charade. Charles Ponzi was found guilty of mail fraud, sentenced to prison for his role in orchestrating the fraudulent investment scheme. The man who had promised prosperity and wealth found himself on the receiving end of the justice system he had tried so hard to evade. The tale of Charles Ponzi, while confined to the annals of history, left an indelible mark on the financial world. As we conclude our journey through the rise and fall of Ponzi's empire, we now turn our attention to the enduring legacy and the valuable lessons that continue to resonate. Impact on financial regulations and oversight. Ponzi's audacious scheme acted as a wake-up call for regulators and financial institutions worldwide. The fallout from his deception prompted a re-evaluation of existing financial regulations and oversight mechanisms. The Ponzi scheme exposed the gaps in a regulatory framework. It was a catalyst for change, prompting regulators to adapt and implement measures to prevent and detect fraudulent schemes. Governments and regulatory bodies began fortifying their systems, enhancing due diligence processes, and implementing stricter oversight to protect investors from falling prey to similar scams. The legacy of Ponzi's scheme is evident in the array of legal reforms that followed, reshaping the regulatory landscape and providing a more robust framework to safeguard investors from deceptive financial practices. Reflection on the enduring allure of get-rich-quick schemes. Despite the lessons learned from Ponzi's deception, The allure of get-rich-quick schemes endures as a persistent undercurrent in the financial world. Ponzi's legacy serves as a mirror reflecting the human desire for quick wealth and prosperity. The psychology behind the attraction to get-rich-quick schemes is complex. It taps into the innate human desire for financial success, without the hard work and patience required for genuine wealth building. Ponzi's name became synonymous with schemes that promise extraordinary returns with minimal risk, creating a cautionary tale that reverberates through generations. In the digital age, Ponzi schemes have evolved, finding new avenues to exploit unsuspecting investors. From online investment platforms to cryptocurrency scams, the methods may have changed, but the underlying principles remain the same. Modern-day Ponzi schemes often leverage technology to reach a wider audience. It's crucial for investors to stay informed, exercise caution, and be aware of the red flags associated with fraudulent schemes. Recognizing the signs of a potential Ponzi scheme is paramount. High, guaranteed returns with little to no risk, reluctance to provide detailed information, and pressure tactics to recruit more investors are common characteristics of such schemes. As we bring our journey through the life and legacy of Charles Ponzi to a close, let's take a moment to reflect on the key points that have unfolded in this intricate tale of deception and financial chaos. We started by delving into the early life and upbringing of Charles Ponzi, a man whose ambition and resilience paved the way for one of the most infamous financial schemes in history. From his initial forays into the financial world to the emergence of Ponzi as a charismatic figure, the stage was set for a saga that would captivate the world. The birth of the Ponzi scheme, with its promise of extraordinary returns and rapid growth, painted a picture of prosperity that ultimately proved to be nothing more than an illusion. We witnessed the early warning signs, investigative journalism, and the legal actions that sought to halt the scheme. The aftermath was marked by the devastating impact on individual investors, the erosion of trust in financial systems, and the enduring allure of get-rich-quick schemes. Legal consequences unfolded, leading to Ponzi's trial, conviction, and a legacy that left an indelible mark on financial regulations and oversight. As we stand at the crossroads of history and the present, it's essential to heed the lessons embedded in the Ponzi scheme saga. Financial literacy and due diligence emerge as our greatest allies in navigating the complexities of the financial world. Empower yourself with knowledge. Understand the risks, question promises that seem too good to be true, and always conduct due diligence before making any investment decisions. Ponzi's legacy serves as a stark reminder that the pursuit of quick wealth, devoid of a solid understanding of financial principles, can lead to devastating consequences. As we conclude this journey, we invite you to carry forward the wisdom gained from the unraveling of the Ponzi scheme. The financial world is dynamic, and challenges persist, but armed with knowledge and a commitment to due diligence, you have the power to make informed decisions. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Charles Ponzi's life and the far-reaching consequences of his actions. Remember, the lessons of the past shape our present and future. Let us be vigilant, let us be informed, and let us strive for a financial landscape built on transparency and integrity. If you found this journey insightful, share it with others. Spread the importance of financial literacy, and together, let's build a community empowered to make sound financial choices. From all of us at the channel, thank you for unraveling the Ponzi scheme saga with us. Stay curious, stay informed, and may your financial journey be one of prosperity and wisdom. Until next time, take care.